Hey guys, how's it going? It's Blepnir here with another team review, and today we're going to be looking at TURTONATOR in the Great League. Now, I have made a video on TURTONATOR before. I will include that in the description down below, but that was in the last season, Season 17, and here in Season 18, the meta is very different, but I think that TURTONATOR still has a place. So we're using it with two Pokemon that have benefited from this season's move updates. We have the new and improved Aquatail Quagsire in the lead, Shadow Quagsire, I should say, which the buff to Aquatail was such a huge improvement to Shadow Quagsire that it made it competitive now as one of the best Mud Boys in the meta. And then as a safe swap, we have new and improved Psycho Cut Shadow Gallade with access to Synchronoise. We have it with the legacy move Synchronoise as the safe swap. And this team was so much fun. In general, I think that the core of the Quagsire and the Gallade is really strong and really fun. And TURTONATOR is such a spicy third Pokemon to cover for the core's weaknesses. And with that being said, let's see how we do in this Season 18 meta. So here we have Quagsire and Frostlass. This is an okay matchup just because we are so spammy with these Aquatails, and also we hold the threat of taking them out with a Stone Edge. And so they didn't farm up to the Shadow Ball, so I'm going to no-shield this Avalanche, and I'm going to bait because we know that the Stone Edge would take them out, and we think they know that it would take them out, and they do shield the bait, so that's really good for us. And now we do get to the Stone Edge, so this is really good. We're either going to go up 2 shields, or they're just going to get taken out here. And boom! They get taken out by the Stone Edge, and then we safe swap into Gallade, and honestly, we are kind of missing the close combat here. If we had close combat, then suddenly this would be a much better matchup for the Gallade. You can see here that this Leaf Blade is actually going to put them into range where close combat would probably just about take them out. But unfortunately, we're just going to go straight Leaf Blade here. This Leaf Blade is not going to even put them at half health. And then they're going to take us out with Aerial Ace here or a Foul Play. They go straight Foul Play, which is making me think that maybe they have Foul Play and Shadow Ball as their moveset. So we're going to go into TURTONATOR, and they should be right about in the range where a Dragon Pulse will take them out. So we're going to probably shield this. Yeah, we want to preserve some health here. And we're going to farm up one more Incinerate and then throw the Dragon Pulse before they reach an Aerial Ace, if they had Aerial Ace. And so Dragon Pulse takes them out. They have Wigglytuff in the back, and this is such a fun matchup for us because we get to defeat a Charmer with a Dragon type, and that happens basically not at all in this meta. Sound off in the comments down below if you've ever seen a Dragon type completely farm down a Fairy type before. Not quite farm down, but what I mean is, like, this is basically the TURTONATOR just straight up takes out the Wigglytuff, which is really impressive to me. We did reset our debuff there after throwing the first overheat, but that wasn't strictly necessary. We would have won that regardless, just because overheat is such a good move. And here we have a very fun pick by the opponent, the Rapidash. Rapidash has access to Body Slam and High Horsepower, which is a really cool moveset. They get to their Body Slams at the same time I get to my Aquatails, which means that we actually lose this matchup because they're going to take us out with a Body Slam here if they decide to throw it. They do shield, so at least we get a shield here, but they're going to throw the Body Slam at this range, and at this range it will definitely take us out. I think the opponent didn't quite think that they could take me out at the health range I was at before, but this is not the end of the world. We just have to shield up here, and we don't shield up. I miscounted. I thought that they were only at a body slam, but they were at the high horsepower, which does so much damage. It's kind of amazing it didn't one-shot us because, yeah, that's such a heavy-hitting move. Super effective from a very glassy Pokemon. But wow, look at this matchup. By the way, we just completely one-shot that Poliwrath there. Oh my gosh, with the Leaf Blade, that did so much damage. And now the game is over because I have 2 shields, they have 0 shields, and no matter how much they debuff me, I will be able to take them out with 2 Leaf Blades. So we did actually CMP tie here. That was not a smart choice by me because I could have potentially lost if they had just snuck in a move instead of CMP tying us. So the smart play would have been to do proper fast move timing and throw 4 Psycho Cuts instead of tying them after 3 Psycho Cuts. Luckily they did CMP tie me there, but that's a learning experience for me. And here we have a Greninja. This is okay, just because Aqua Tail still does a sizable amount of damage to them, and also we do outpace them to Aqua Tails. So, yeah, we take the first Hydro Cannon, and we're going to throw this Aqua Tail. We're hoping to get a shield here. We do get a shield. We go into Glade because we can outpace them if we shield this first one, and if this is a Hydro Cannon, we should outpace them. Yeah, so they throw the Hydro Cannon, which is good. They come into Golbat, and this is exactly why we want Synchronoise. Because Synchronoise is going to do so much damage here. Boom! One-shotting the Golbat. That is so much damage. And then they come in with Lickitung. And so here, we're hoping that they think that I have close combat as well as Synchronoise. And they do shield. So a Leaf Blade would have done a sizable chunk of damage. But them shielding the Leaf Blade is even better. Because we land another Leaf Blade here. Do so much damage. And the Turtonator should be able to take them out with the Dragon Pulse. We will shield one move here. Not the first move, but we do have to shield here, right? Yeah, because this would get us too low. And so now we're going to actually farm up here. I might farm up 2 Incinerates because I'm pretty sure that they're empty. Yeah, so we farm up 2 Incinerates, which is a lot of energy. And now the game should be won because we are only 1 Incinerate away from a move here. And this Dragon Pulse will be more than enough to take out the Greninja. So this is a really satisfying win. Fire type winning against a water type. This is the fun thing about Turtonator, is that it's a fire type that wins against water types. It's a dragon that wins against Charmers. It's a enigma of a Pokemon, a complete paradox of a Pokemon. And here we see one of the best things our team could possibly face. It's a Charger Bug, and both our Quagsire in the lead and our Turtonator in the back have very good matchups versus the Charger Bug, obviously. But also, the Glade with Synchronoise has a surprisingly good matchup as well. And you can see there that the Stone Edge almost one-shots them. They come in with the Greninja, and we CMP tie them to the move. Might have been better to go for the Aqua Tail because it would still do a decent amount of damage and would leave us with more energy. But here we are going to actually take the move, and then we're going to switch into... oh, never mind. That takes us out. I didn't realize that would take us out. But we go into our Glade. And at this range, the Leaf Blade will take them out. So either they have to shield this, or they have to, or they'll just get taken out by this Leaf Blade. They do shield, which is fine because we can just shield this and we should outpace them to the next Body Slam because we win CMP. And then they have a Skeledirge, and here we should have actually gone straight into the Turtonator. If we went straight into the Turtonator, this would be a much easier situation. But because we land the Synchronoise, once again, Synchronoise is definitely what won us this battle. If we had Leaf Blade close combat versus Skeledirge, we would not have been able to carve out that much health from them in one hit. It's so satisfying when people go into Skeledirge against my Gallade thinking that the Skeledirge will win, when in reality, the Skeledirge loses as long as I land the Synchronoise, and that is a good game. So here we have the Alolan Sandslash in the lead. They switch it into their Feraligatr, and as long as we are quick enough here, we can take out the Feraligatr in the 2 shields, because we are already at 2 Leaf Blades, and if we can get to a 3rd Leaf Blade, which it looks like I would be able to, then I would actually take this secondary matchup here. We do CMP tie here, and I'm thinking really hard about if I want to shield this, and I decide not to shield this because I'm thinking that I can take care of this thing with my Quagsire. But I do think that, looking back, I think that's a mistake because they do outpace the Quagsire to the Stone Edge. So I'm not going to throw the Stone Edge here, but I have to shield because the Hydro Cannon would just do so much damage here. We shield, and now we are going to throw the Stone Edge right before the opponent gets to their next Hydro Cannon. And so we did give up a shield. We have a good amount of residual energy, and we have to hope that we can just one-shot something in the back with Turtonator. They have an Azumarill, and I think that this is over at this point. You know, it's an Azumarill, a water and fairy type, versus a dragon and fire type. They're the complete opposite typings, right? We have the fire versus water, and we have the dragon versus fairy. And yet, look at the fight I'm putting up here. They're already at half health, and we're going to actually put them into the red health here with our Turtonator, which is very impressive. They do have to throw their energy. If they don't throw their energy, I'm going to actually take them out with the next Overheat. And that is insanely threatening. And they actually come back in with their Alolan Sandslash. I do slightly undercharge. I'm hoping to get some energy. But instead of that, I come into my Quagsire. And here I do a horrible move, which is to throw my Aqua Tail. This actually should have lost me the match because it was so stupid. Because they do outpace me to 2 Aqua Tails, but they would not have outpaced me to 1 Stone Edge. So honestly, this was a horrible mistake on my part. But look at this. We do take them out in 1 Incinerate, and they do not take us out in 1 Bubble. That is just so overpowered. Resisted Incinerate, actually out DPSing the very bulky Azumarill. And so next up, we have a Cofagrigus in the lead. This is completely fine. The question is, do we want to throw the Stone Edge first, or do we want to throw the Aqua Tail first? I think the safest play is to go straight Aqua Tail. They do no-shield the first one, which is to be expected. And now a Stone Edge would take them out. We're going to no-shield the Shadow Ball, knowing that we don't get farmed down after a Shadow Ball. And they throw the Dark Pulse, and that's really good for us, because now we have so much health left. We are going to go straight Aqua Tail, expecting them to shield, but they don't shield. And so now, looking back, a Stone Edge would have been a much better play, because that would just take them out. But here we go straight Aqua Tail, and this is fine. I think we shield this, and they go for the Dark Pulse. No, they go for a Shadow Ball, so that's good for us that we shielded. And here's a Mandibuzz, and Mandibuzz actually doesn't have a great matchup versus the Turtonator when Turtonator has that 1 Incinerate advantage. That's just how powerful Turtonator is that it does take them out in 2 Dragon Pulses. So the Mandibuzz does not take out the Turtonator in 2 foul plays, which means that Turtonator wins this pretty cleanly. This next foul play, Aerial Ace rather, this next Aerial Ace will not put me into farm down range, and of course this Dragon Pulse will take them out, and so they're forced to no shield that. And they come back in with Cofagrigus, surprisingly. Maybe they thought they could farm down the Turtonator, but now I just get a ton of energy on my Gallade. And at this point, this game is over. Even though I don't have close combat, you can see these Leaf Blades are absolutely chunking. And so now that I've managed to land 2 Leaf Blades, I can give up my Gallade, because at this point, I should be able to take them out with just the Incinerates and Mud Shots. Fast move pressure. So I let this go, and then they throw the Focus Blast, and this is the best case scenario for me, because now I should be able to get them even lower and either grab a shield or, I grab a shield, and so now I should be able to reach a Aqua Tail, and the Aqua Tail will easily put them into Incinerate downrange. So we are going to go into our Quagsire. They throw the move, but we're going to shield because we know that we can get off the Aqua Tail. And if it comes to it, we can get off a ton of Mud Shots. So here we throw the Aqua Tail. We probably live to throw 2 more Mud Shots, but we have the Turtonator. And so 1 Incinerate takes them out. And that is just showing the fast move pressure of this team into something like a very bulky thing like a Registeel in the back. And so here we have the Skarmory in the lead, and it's very good that we're not seeing the Skarmory on Gallade. And because of the flexibility of our moveset, we can throw either an Aqua Tail or a Stone Edge here. We go for the Stone Edge, and they let that go because they're most likely to let go of the first move before they potentially throw a Brave Bird. But we call that they don't throw a Brave Bird. And like this matchup we should be in the driver's seat of this matchup, honestly. Because an Aqua Tail will at least put them very close to death here. They let that go, and sure enough, that kills. This is the power of Shadow Quagsire with the new and improved Aqua Tail. That's really impressive damage there for a move that only costs 35 energy, able to KO the very bulky Skarmory. They come in with the Lantern, and here they are hard calling that we don't have Mud Bomb, which is of course correct. They saw our whole moveset, so it was smart of them to come to Lantern. They knew that I didn't have Mud Bomb. And now we have the very questionable decision to go into our Turtonator, and then they switch into Greedent. And this is really interesting for us, actually, because we're going to be able to spam out these overheats. We probably should have just thrown the Dragon Pulse the first time. Dragon Pulse is a decent move, so there was no reason for us to go straight overheat there. But they go for a Trailblaze, and like that, we suddenly have a huge win con. Because Trailblaze is double resisted. You can't actually see it because it's glitched out on the screen. It doesn't list it as double resisted. But, wow, that just did so little damage. And now we can probably just Psycho Cut down. Ideally, we catch the move onto Quagsire, which we do. This is a pretty safe catch, right? Because usually people wait 1 turn and then throw their move. And they throw the Trailblaze, which is fine because we can shield up this Crunch. I do believe this is a Crunch. Really spicy moveset. But even if it was a Body Slam, I don't think that they reach another Body Slam before we can Psycho Cut them down. So what we do is we outpace them to 2 Leaf Blades. We reach 2 Leaf Blades, one before they reach the Surf. So we throw this first one, they shield. We can throw the next one on the CMP tie. This is the same time they get to the Surf. And we can take them out here. The Surf probably would take us out, honestly, because we're so glassy.